We went from being famous in a 14-block radius to being on tour with Madonna and Rick Rubin.
The shows kept getting bigger and bigger.
We morphed from making fun of party bros to actually becoming those dudes.
We were burning out.
I just didn't even recognize the person that I had become at that point. Yo, hold up. It's not over yet. Go.
There's not that many times in your life when you realize you're in a new chapter.
The Beastie Boys are back.
He is Jalen Anthony Rose.
What up, bro?
I'm David Jacoby.
And a special. And on the cool second.
Together with Jalen Jacoby, what is it that we do?
We hear the people.
Jalen, the lyrics of the Beastie Boys start our show every single day. And we knew one day it would happen. We knew one day it would happen. We knew one day it would happen. Today is that day. Joining us here, Mike D and Ad Brock of the Beastie Boys, and Jeff Van Gundy from about 1945. Thank you so much for joining the show, fellas.
Thanks for having us. Finally.
What's up? Finally.
We're here.
I'm going to start this. Can I start this off by saying, and if you were on this call, Peter Smith, who's like our day-to-day make it happen person, you know, we have this film coming out. We're going to talk to you about it. We have to talk to multiple people, let the world in quarantine know that this thing is happening, even though the world is in a very interesting place. But you ask Pete Smith, the one show I said, all right, Pete, when are we going on Jalen and Jacoby? That's all I want to know.
Yes.
So you guys have that. You're the one show.
Is love.
That is so nice to hear. I mean, we discuss you all the time. And Jalen's been on the show for 9 years, and I hear the same stories over and over and over again. We do the same show for 5 days a week for 9 years. And he tells the same story of his exposure to the Beastie Boys. And just this once, I'm going to lay out and allow this man to tell the story of his introduction to your music.
Please do. Welcome to the program, you rap stars, you rock stars, you rap group, you band members, you legendary forces of the culture. We're so very grateful to have you on. And as a 12 or 13-year-old downtown Joe Louis Arena, when you took the stage, Raising Hell Tour, LL was there, Run DMC was there. I saw it in your recent documentary. I knew you guys did it on purpose. You wanted to turn the crowd against you early. You made us boo you. You made us boo you. You made us get upset. And then y'all said, ain't on the cool check-in. And then y'all went into the new style. And ever since then, it's been ringing in my ears, the greatness that you guys have brought to the industry. What can you recollect about those shows, that tour, and moments like that?
Well, there's some stuff we can't talk about. Especially when you're talking about downtown Detroit. And what do we recollect?
Not a lot of. I would say this: not a lot of fun things that happened in downtown Detroit at that time were legal.
That's fair.
All facts.
Us being on stage at Joe Louis Arena is probably one of the few.
Well, Jalen mentioned the documentary.
If you want to know what we recollect, go ahead.
Yes.
No, you go.
I mean, not that much. I don't remember that much, but I mean, imagine being 19 years old and being on stage at fucking Joe Louis Arena, rocking thousands of people. It was fantastic. Not that particular moment, but that's in Detroit. That moment was fun.
Yeah. Like that might have been the moment. But also to put it in context, and I think Jalen, you and I have talked about this. What's that? Oh yeah.
Not a pretty
Jalen,
band.
you and I have talked about this. Hold on. So Adam and I were talking about this earlier, and Jalen, you and I have talked about this. Not only are we on stage, trying to rock the crowd, Joe Louis Arena, thousands of people where we, this like important sports arena, where we've seen like Detroit Bad Boys play and everything. And then, but we get to be on tour and learn from the side of the stage every night watching Run DMC, who are not like one of the top 5 groups that we love. They were the number one group that we love, right? The absolute pinnacle of what rap music was for us at that moment. And they were so, not only that, they were so generous about taking us in and supporting us and letting us, listen, watch, learn, and try to execute.
How about
thank you to Run DMC and especially Jam Master Jay.
How about being the core of hip hop? Wow, that's classic. Look at that Dobbs hat.
He brought B-roll.
JMJ. What's my name?
I told you. I prepared for this interview.
What's my name?
I looked through a whole box.
Run.
Right.
What was it like to be a part of the epicenter that was called hip hop that you guys said it in the documentary, where you went from playing basketball arenas to basically baseball stadiums?
Well, Run DMC went from basketball to baseball. We stayed basketball. It's amazing. Like I was saying, imagine being 19, 20 years old. I mean, Jalen, you know what it's like, but it's crazy. It's a crazy thing. You go from just not long before you're hanging out with your friends, the same 2 friends, the 3 of us are together doing whatever, and now we're on stage in front of thousands of people. It's amazing. I mean, we got lucky. I don't know what to tell you. We got real lucky and real happy.
Well, Jalen and I did more preparation for this program than we have on any other show in the history of our show, because we both watched this documentary, The Beastie Boys Story. It is absolutely fantastic. And one thing I couldn't really conceptualize before I saw it was what a live documentary was. So explain to our audience what they're going to see when they watch The Beastie Boys Story, what a live documentary is.
I think
Mike, you want to go ahead?
Oh yeah, Adam, you got it. You got it, Adam. I know you're going to do this. You're going to crush this description right now. So, I guess for me, I'm not good with the short answers. Yeah, I will climb through that freaking internet wire line, and I will through that Wi-Fi. I will strangle you. See, you guys have been doing this every day for 9 years. Now imagine for Adam and I, we've been basically doing this darn close to every day for decades.
Oh, I've been trying to get rid of you for the last 5.
Now, in terms of our...
So here's the thing. Here's the answer. Are you going to go or no?
I can't even tell if this is a bit.
I think you sound like you got it. I'm going to sit back and watch now. Yeah. I'm playing the wall. I'm playing the wall, strictly.
Watch. I'm so high, man, I can't remember what I was going to say.
Perfect. That is the exact appropriate answer. You fought over Mike about answering the question, which is a very simple softball question about the live documentary format, and then you argued about it for 15 minutes and then forgot. Right. Okay.
No.
Help me help you.
We wrote a book. We actually did write a book. Mike and I know how to read and write, in case you were wondering.
Yeah.
And so we wrote this book. It's called Beastie Boys Book, and it's available for downloads, purchases, and all those other things. And so when the book came out, we wanted to do something to promote it. So we wrote a show. It's like we tell stories, we do skits. It's like this sort of weird thing that we did. We thought was cool. And then we wanted to film it. We forgot to film it. So then we rewrote it with our friend Spike Jonze, the illustrious. I've never seen his movies, but from what I hear, he's a very good filmmaker.
Award-winning, Adam, Academy Award-winning writer.
Accolades, belts. He has all of those things.
Titles.
And so we titles, and so we filmed this thing, and then Spike went after we filmed it. He started editing it. And when he showed it to us, it was a documentary. I thought it was going to be just a document of what me and Mike did, but Spike had turned it into a documentary. So it's half like us on stage telling stories and then intercut with a lot of pictures and footage. And I give Spike credit. I think it's really good. If you got nothing to do
one thing
in a few days.
Yes. I mean, one thing that's great about this, it's like we've all seen Tiger King. We're in the middle of the Michael Jordan documentary. How does it feel to be like the meat in the sandwich that is the Tiger King and Jordan documentary?
Oh man!
Wow, it's true. I didn't even think about that context because, like, of course, the rest of everybody in the world. With my kids, we watched Tiger King, and then I just started watching Chicago Bulls / Jordan multi-part show, which I have to say I'm really enjoying.
An auto policy from State Farm gets you collision coverage. And this radio ad from State Farm gets you coverage of this beloved 90s hit.
I hit a car. I hit a car. I hit a car. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. My agent's gonna help me.
For more coverage, visit statefarm.com.
That's actually what I was going to ask you about. As we started this interview, Ad Rock, you were showing me those ain't basketball cards. Those are artifacts. Anytime over 25 years old, those are classics that you have there. So, have you seen The Last Dance? I would love to hear from both of you. Start with you, Ad Rock. And is Michael Jordan the undisputed GOAT?
Oh, no.
Undisputed. Wow. What do I know? I play music.
Because I saw you on the sideline shaking hands with Teresa Weatherspoon. You've been going to the garden.
Hold up.
Shows. You got 150 basketball cards right in front of you during the interview. Bob Love. You pulled out one of my godfather, Jimmy Walker. Dave Bean. That's what happens when you don't know your biological father. You call somebody else.
You shout him out.
That's all I'm asking
you. Coming from New York, in that time, no. Michael Jordan.
There you go.
90s, Michael Jordan. What do you want from me? Come on, if he played in New York,
well, wait.
I would have his poster on my ceiling. Are you kidding me? I have bed sheets. You know what I mean? I have, I'm spacing on his name. Damn. Anyways, I'm spacing on it.
But we had the good fortune, because thankfully, this is my big statement. Adam's going to hate on me right now. We had the good fortune of playing Madison Square Garden many times. We were in the building for a number of those classic Jordan games where he killed us. I mean, he destroyed us bucket after bucket, just handle after handle. Nobody, who on the Knicks was going to stop him? I mean, it was dagger. The Starks dunk, that was our highlight.
With the left. On the baseline.
That's the best we had. That's right. And Adam, am I wrong? Like, that was in our time and the prime time of us being Knicks fans. That was the number one best.
No, I say
moment.
You want to watch players' best highlights? They're always on the Knicks. I don't know what that's about.
Yes.
Jalen, how was your experience in New York?
Well, I had a shot of espresso. I was only there for like 20 games, but I love playing against them for Indiana when it was Hicks versus Knicks. During those glory days you guys are talking about, Ewing and Oakley. What do you guys remember about those teams?
You know who I love? Xavier McDaniels, okay? Let's start from there.
Oh, yeah, the X-Men.
Yeah.
He had his own sneaker, too.
I loved
almost as popular as the Jordans. Almost.
I loved seeing actually Oakley and Detlef. Wait, who is it on Indiana then? Detlef Schrempf.
Yep.
Who was your white guy?
The detonator.
Right?
Yep. And Rick Smith.
So Detlef Schrempf, and that was to me, it's so interesting because it's so different than the NBA now. Like in that time, you know, every East Coast team had to have their enforcer power forward. Your power forward wasn't to score. Your power forward was just to pull down rebounds and just make people scared. Just make people scared. Period. You know, it's like a real hip hop type thing.
Rodman, Oakley.
We talk a lot about Michael Jordan during these times. He was a good player. But when it comes to insurance, State Farm has all of the makings of a Michael Jordan-like player. First, they make everything they do look easy and easy for you. To manage your coverage, to pay your bill, even to file a claim, you can do it all from the palm of your hand with the State Farm mobile app, which was just awarded Best Insurance Mobile App of 2019. And like a great teammate, they know your tendencies. State Farm agents are local, so they'll help you choose coverage that fits your specific needs. State Farm is always there to coach you through it with the answers you need when you need them. When you want the real deal, go with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Jalen played in the NBA, and he's a great NBA analyst. But see, my real basketball experience comes in pickup, and I've heard some legendary stories. It was touched on in the film a little bit about some of the Beastie Boys pickup, but I heard about PS41, Tuesday nights, you know. So take yourself back to the tour and the house where you had the basketball hoop. Like, what was the Beastie Boys pickup games like?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell it like this. Ooh. Mike, tell them what Biz Marquis said the other day. Tell him.
But when he kept asking about,
who did he say?
No, I don't know, because he said a bunch of things, Adam, as Biz always does.
He said, Ad Rock and Ball, he's got handle like.
That's true. He's like Van Exels. He's like,
he said he's got handle like Iverson, Mike. Don't lie.
Oh, he didn't say Iverson.
Come on,
Mike. He did.
Now you blew the whole thing.
But he transitioned real fast into Van Exel. It was like one Iverson.
No.
Van Exel.
So we're so glad to have you on here. So we're in the vein of pickup basketball. You're going to join us with a segment, one of our signature segments called Soft Move or Boss Move. Mike, I'm going to start with you. This is an ongoing debate between Jalen and I through the years. Scoring pickup basketball by 2s and 3s, is that a soft move or a boss move?
Wait, is it 2s or 3s?
2s and 3s, like an NBA game. Or scoring by 1s, or 1s and 2s.
We are 1s and 2s.
Tried to tell him.
We never did. On a pickup game, we never, and there was no, the only time that there was 2s is like when you call, like there's times, because we would always set up a hoop backstage. Pretty basically for every single show, we brought like a portable hoop, with us, and we would play, backstage at whatever arena. And actually, to elaborate on that story, one time backstage in Philadelphia, we were playing outside in this park. The only time our backboard, our hoop, our setup ever got stolen in the city of Philadelphia. Brotherly love. Thank you very much. Philadelphia is so hardcore in their love. They stole our basketball hoop.
No. Here's the thing. We had a recording studio, and we had a hoop set up in the studio. And we only ever score by 1s, because who can do math? I mean, really, who wants to do that? I'm just trying to play.
It is hard.
Yeah.
But we did have this little pole kind of near the ceiling. But if you could shoot, if you hit it and it went over the pole and in, then you got 2. But it never happened.
Oh, that you deserve it.
Exactly.
You deserve.
No, that's what I was
going
to say. That's the same thing, and same thing on tour. So we would, our hoop would be set up wherever it would be set up, like backstage. So if you had there'd be situations where it'd be like if it went off the corner and off the ceiling and then in, that's a 2-point shot.
So what are you saying,
I mean?
Mike?
You could call it OB or you could go 2 points.
I think he went soft move, but he just tried to be nice about it to try to explain it and turn it into a story. It was a really great turn from him. It was a great performance from Mike.
No, 2, 3, 2 scoring, but I say pickup game 2s and 3s. That's soft. I'm weighing in.
Jalen?
Go ahead.
All right. So one of the things that I wanted to bring up, to you guys watching this film, and I was going back through it, is just the different chapters. And you guys sort of like made a bit about it during the film where you chapterized everything, but there are true distinct chapters in your career. And it's so hard to compare them all because they're kind of like your kids or whatever. Like you like them all for different reasons, and those parts you remember in your life. What do you think right now when you're watching back and you're looking at all these different periods of your life? Like which ones do you remember the fondest?
I mean, they were very different. Like, you know, I can't choose. You can't pick one specific thing. Do you know what I mean? Like the old days. The early days were amazing because we were teenagers and things were just really, really fun and all this exciting shit was happening seemingly all at once, right? And then Paul's Boutique, one of our records, we moved to Los Angeles and we were having so much fun. And then we started like a couple years later, we did a record called Check Your Head, and that was really fun because we really got in the flow of being musicians and, you know, every chapter had highs and lows, obviously. But being with Adam and Mike, there's always a constant of friendship, and that's the high for the whole thing.
Currently, we're all living in a time of uncertainty. But one thing that these last few weeks have made crystal clear is that we all need to look out for each other and come together to protect the things we care about, including the planet we all share. That's why Allbirds is on a mission to leave the planet in better shape than they found it. Allbirds make shoes from premium renewable materials, and they just announced the carbon emissions for all of their products before they offset them to zero. Allbirds will be listing the carbon footprint on all shoes moving forward, just like nutrition labels on food, but for your closet. Their shoes' average carbon footprint per product is equal to running 5 loads in the dryer or driving 19 miles in a car. They're committed to lowering their shoes' environmental impact over time, so they leave a better kind of footprint. Allbirds knows we can create a more sustainable future, but only if we hold ourselves accountable. With Allbirds, feel confident knowing you're wearing a shoe that's doing right by your feet and the planet. Learn more about their sustainable practices and find your pair at allbirds.com today. Hey guys, I know there's a lot going on right now in the world, and we're all shopping online. I just saw that AT&T started doing 2 really helpful things for those who want to buy a new phone or device online. They're offering fast, free, no contact delivery and curbside pickup so that online shopping is as simple and safe as possible. On top of that, they have a flexible return policy so you can shop at ease. You can visit att.com to learn how to shop online from the safety of your home 24/7. Subject to change, restrictions apply.
Now, I have an important question just to go back to sports for a second. What are we going to do with the dumpster fire that is the New York Knicks franchise? Like if Adam Silver calls your phone and says, Mike, Adam, I really want to talk to you guys. You guys know a lot about basketball. I respect your basketball minds. I know you're Knicks fans. What do we do with this trash franchise right now? Adam, we'll start with you.
Sign Greg Oden.
Oh, I like it. It's outside the box thinking. Outside the box thinking. I think he was in the Big Three, wasn't he?
I think he was. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who we should bring back? Hey, I'm just going to do this just because both my brothers, Matthew and Oliver, they love the show. And so my brother Matthew gave me the shirt.
Sheen!
Oh, yeah.
Sheen!
Oh, yeah.
My brother Matthew gave the shirt. I want to give him a shout out. I love you, Matthew.
Big shout, Matthew.
Big shout to and don't forget Oliver, too. Big shout to Oliver. Oliver's always been my favorite anyway. Yeah.
So what do you think?
I don't know what to do with the Knicks.
No, so the Knicks, what? All right.
Whoa. Oh, that's just wrong. Look at that.
I like that illustration. Listen, where do you even start with the Knicks? It's hard because
are we still paying Larry Johnson?
To say,
like the Mets
and Bobby Bonilla. The Knicks are also paying Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah. We're probably still playing Bob McAdoo. I mean, yeah. Where do you start with a team that literally could not attract any? They literally couldn't get any. They quit the single. And what people don't know about the Knicks, and we know it from being New Yorkers and having the good luck of going to games, the seats inside the Garden, in Madison Square Garden, to see a Knicks game, I believe, are the absolute most expensive in the NBA. Am I correct in saying that?
They're in the conversation, if not the most expensive, regardless of their record.
I mean, maybe the Lakers are the same, but let's let's just say it's either number one or tied for number one, most expensive. And yet we have, so there's the most revenue per game inside that arena. Plus it's like iconic Madison Square Garden. Everybody in the world knows what this building is, what it represents for all of it. Not just the Knicks, but not just for you. Like Jalen, every time you're playing an away game, you're going into the Garden. That's a bigger moment for you than
absolutely.
I'm going to say playing in no disrespect to Charlotte, no disrespect to Milwaukee.
All facts.
But that's a big deal. And same for us, same for any band that steps on that stage inside Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. They call it that for a reason. And all that being said, we got the number one worst trash team in the entire league.
Hey, listen.
I might be losing. I'm going to lose my privileges now. The Dolan family
No,
is never going to give me another chance.
They're going to sign Greg Oden and turn this thing around.
You know, I'm getting free courtside seats, man. I'm not going to say anything against them. I love you, James Dolan.
They're doing great. Build around Frank Ntilikina. Build around Ntilikina. RJ Barrett's going to be a star. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
So you guys obviously have a lot of fans. And one thing I found really interesting, but two things I found interesting about the doc is one is, you know, as a Beastie Boys fan, I always imagined that like Fight for Your Right was like the big breakthrough song. But when you watch the doc, you find out that the radio play, especially in New York, sort of started with Hold It Now Hit It, which I found really interesting. And there was also a moment in the doc where you guys talked about sort of loving hip hop so much and growing up loving hip hop, but then doing the shows and the big Fight for Your Right tour, the Lights to Ill tour, and you're doing the music, but then looking in the stands and sort of not seeing kind of the same love of the culture on the other side of the stage than where you were on the stage. What did that feel like in the moment?
Are you talking about Fight for Right party times?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's the thing is we went from like when we were opening up for Running Them, and it's like Run DMC, LL Cool J, Houdini, like we're in these arenas. Yeah, we had to work, and some nights went better than others. But we were in the world that we fought to be in. Then when we're in this moment of we're on tour and Fight for Right to Party is like this big thing on MTV or wherever the MTV is in some country that's somewhere else. All of a sudden you look out and it's like these dudes that would have, you know, I don't know how else to say it, like dudes that would have just like chased us down the block and tried to beat the shit out of us in high school. They're our audience, right? It's a weird, alienating thing that you gotta, you know, you can't choose your audience, but it's weird when you reach that moment and you're like, you're so excited to be doing what we're doing, but then we look out and it's like, wait, who are they and how are they into this? And do they love hip hop the same way we love hip hop? Maybe not. And you know, where do we go? Who are we in all this at that point? You know, like really, like who are we?
So, Jalen, unfortunately, we're going to have to let you gentlemen go, but I have a question. Will y'all come back and visit us in the studio? You got to come to the studio.
Yeah.
You know, the quarantine thing is cool. We're all in our house and stuck here on Zoom or whatever, but you got to come to the studio for real.
Coronavirus for you guys to invite us?
Oh, please. You've been on the list for a long time. Let's not play this dance. Let's not dance this dance. You're right over my shoulder. Where are you? You're right here. You're on the show every day. You're on the show every single day. We quote you every day. You are welcome back anytime. Now I'm upset. I'm going to talk to our booker.
Hey, you guys are joining my house for dinner.
There are three entities that Jacoby and I fight over. Redman, Larry Bird, and the Beastie Boys. We love you guys.
Make sure you watch the Beastie Boys story. Debuts on Friday. I've seen it before. Jalen Saad is absolutely excellent. Thank you so much for coming on. You're welcome back anytime.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys. And we will, I'm going to say right now for Adam, we will in the studio at someday, another juncture when the world is back to whatever or gets to wherever, we will be in the studio. Word is bond.
Thanks so much.
Be safe, everybody.
An auto policy from State Farm gets you collision coverage. And this radio ad from State Farm gets you coverage of this beloved 90s hit.
I hit a car. I hit a car. I hit a car.
For more coverage, visit statefarm.com.